The days of waking up in the morning and feeling like a hairdryer's been blasted into my mouth all night are long gone, and it's down to this. Well, not actually this one, but this one. However, I had actually used this at the start when I had no idea what I was doing. In this video, I'm going to cover why I started taping my mouth at night, the benefits that I got from it, and most importantly, 5 crucial tips that I've learned from doing this every night for over 1,000 nights in a row that I wish that I'd known at the very start and I've never heard anyone else talking about. Let's get into it. Almost 3 years ago now, I stumbled across a Darin Olien podcast, and he had a chap on it called Patrick McKeown. I'll leave a link to it in the description, who talked about the many benefits of nasal That would be interesting, breathing through your belly button. Who talked about the many benefits of nasal breathing and the detriments of breathing through the mouth. To overcome this, he suggested taping your mouth up at night, which when I first heard it, I thought sounded like one of the most ridiculous things I'd ever heard in my life. However, I've always tried to remain open-minded about new ideas and subjects, and to try and take in all the new information before jumping to any conclusions and making any assumptions. So I listened on. There was one thing in particular that he said that stood out. He said, if you wake up in the morning dehydrated with a dry mouth, it's because you're a mouth breather. This was me every morning without fail. I'd wake up feeling absolutely parched, with a mouth as dry as a sponge in the desert. If this alone could potentially be solved by simply putting some tape on my mouth at night, it seemed worth it to me. Not to mention, he also said it could help dental health, improve overall sleep, stop you snoring, and help you to become less ill through nasal filtration, among other benefits. I decided to give it a try that very night. He never, however, gave much advice about how to actually go about taping your mouth up that I recall. I had to learn this the hard way, but you won't have to. I looked like an absolute idiot that first night. I had no idea what I was doing, and ended up taping half my face with tape like this to try and get a good seal. I was also quite terrified that I might get a blocked nose throughout the night and not be able to breathe. It felt very unnatural, but as promised, I woke up the next morning not feeling like this. I did still, however, feel a bit dehydrated. It was enough to make me want to continue though, so I decided to give it a try every single night for the rest of that week. I woke up each subsequent morning feeling less and less dehydrated, and every single time without a dry mouth, and having had a much better sleep. I also never woke up during the night needing a drink of water. This then led me to take it up as a longer term habit. I've now been doing this for over 1,000 days, or nights I guess, and it's just part of my nighttime routine. I wouldn't snore all the time, but I'd go through periods when I did snore. Since losing a bit of weight and taping my mouth up, I never snore. Here are my 5 crucial tips that I figured out along the way that I wish I'd known at the start, and I've not heard anyone else talk about in relation to this practice. Number 1, use micropore tape. That's 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters wide. There are a few reasons for this. One reason is similar to Goldilocks, with the porridge either being too hot or too cold. Bear with me on this one. You don't want the tape to be too sticky that it's hard to get off, but if it's not sticky enough, it won't work properly and may fall off during the night. Like the porridge, it needs to be just right. And through trialling lots of different types of tape, I found that the micropore tape is the best by far. I'll leave a link to the one that I use in the description. Tip number 2, fold the end of the tape every time you rip a new piece off. For 2 reasons. 1, it makes it easier for you to find the start next time you need to use it. 2, it makes it way easier for you to take it off in the morning, especially if you need to take it off quickly. Tip number 3, if you have a bedside cabinet, when you take it off in the morning, stick it to the side of your bedside cabinet and you can use it for multiple nights. Tip number 4, lick your lips slightly before putting it on. The skin on your lips can be quite delicate, much more so than the skin above and below. Ideally, you want the tape to stick more to the skin above and below the lip rather than the lips themselves, and by licking your lips, it stops the tape from sticking directly to them. This is why you want the 2.5 centimeter tape, because it's wide enough to catch the areas of skin above and below your lips. This also makes it way easier to take off in the morning. Tip number 5 is similar. Lick your lips before taking the tape off if required. I bought a box of 12 rolls of micropore tape for about £8.50 over 2.5 years ago, and I still have some left over even though I've given rolls away. It's an absolute no-brainer from a financial sense. You can get other things that are designed to tape your mouth up at night, but none of them work as well, and none of them are as cheap as this. If you found this video beneficial so far, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the like button. The amazing thing is that after doing this for a period of time at night, it will make you a nose breather during the day as well. You'll get so used to doing it in your sleep that you'll eventually do it when you're awake without even thinking about it. For the first few days, I'd encourage you to try and be mindful and keep your mouth shut during the day as much as possible when breathing, and concentrate on breathing through your nose. But as time passes, you'll just do this naturally anyway. Try trying to be mindful at the start will just speed up the process. Because I've now been doing this for so long, I'm pretty confident that even if I didn't take my mouth up at night, I'd still breathe through my nose anyway. But who knows, after a few nights, I may start slipping back into bad habits and start breathing through my mouth again. It's no big deal to do, so I just continue to tape up my mouth every single night to ensure that that doesn't happen. I would highly recommend giving it a try to improve your sleep, and maybe even your partner's sleep if you're a snorer, as well as the many other benefits I've already mentioned. If you want to hear about other topics that I know will really benefit your life, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.